Hey, what's up, guys? It's your homeboy here, Illuminous24, bringing you a new reaction video. This is going to be called The God of Gaps. Is recommended by a good friend of mine, Jason. So if you do watch this and everything, homie, thank you. And also, without going to the content just yet, if you guys would be so kind to drop a like, make sure you guys comment, and turn on notifications, and make sure you guys subscribe as well. It's for free. What's better than free? 99 cents. But you always know it helps the YouTube algorithm, and it helps make the channel grow, and it helps content get pushed out a lot more. So the more likes and everything that get dropped on the video, the more subscriptions, and the more comments that get dropped of what you guys want to see, it helps me make better content for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the God of Gaps video, and let's get to it.
When trying to reason with faithful believers, especially religious extremists like creationists, we keep hearing the same old arguments over and over and over again, even though we know they've already been shown to be false, fraudulent, and/or fallacious, probably by everyone who's ever seen them. If you keep it up, you'll suspect that those who keep repeating these must surely know by now that all of these points have already been refuted 1,000 times. I'm R.N. Ra, and this is the Pratt List. The first item on the Pratt List
You said Pratt List? Interesting.
is a biggie. It's the God of the Gaps fallacy, which imagines that science can't explain it, therefore God. And that means
Before he gets into that, yes. I like when people bring it up and everything, when everything is like unexplained, or you can't explain the supernatural parts with science. Everyone's like, God did it, and this did it. It's really interesting. You said God of Gaps. Let's continue.
exactly the same thing as, I don't understand it, so I guess it must be magic. And
I like how he said that. It must be magic.
by magic, I mean all supernatural things traditionally and typically described as magical. Curses, potions, enchantments, incantations, necromancy, golem spells, transformation, exorcism, purification rituals, weather control.
Whoa. I did not. I did not know about that part. Genesis, Numbers, Genesis, Ezekiel. I did not know about that.
Ghosts, demons, angels, fire-breathing dragons, faith healing, forecasting, water bending, and all other supernatural manifestations or conjurations such as the Bible repeatedly describes. The reason you can't tell the difference between divine miracles and genie magic is because there is no difference. They're the same thing. If magic was real, then characters like Spock or Gandalf or Obi-Wan would be able to demonstrate that in some reliable way. Parapsychologists would have actual ectoplasm that you can study in the lab, and faith healers would work in hospitals healing amputees. But the reason none of that has happened is because none of it is real. That's why we have dozens of children dying every year because their parents prayed for them instead of seeking medical attention.
I can't stress that enough. When he said that part, it is a true fact where people be like, leave it up to God, leave it up to this. Yes, I am religious, but at the same time, though, I also have common sense. That if a person is sick and they're dying, I'm not just gonna leave it up to God and everything. I'm just gonna go take them to the hospital like a common sense person. Like, car, person, in there, drive. Whew, there you go.
Prayer is no different than, in fact, it's the same thing as wishing upon a star, which is why it doesn't work. That's why prophetic seers never predict anything accurately, and religious apologists are always scientifically and historically, ethically, and morally absolutely wrong about absolutely everything. You get more reliable results from a magic 8-ball, and that's just a toy based on random chance.
He said magic 8-ball. I'm so dead.
If it's unexplained by science, that doesn't mean it's explained by magic. If science can't explain it, religion can't explain it either. Gods and magic don't explain anything anyway. Believers say you can't explain everything without God, but they can't explain anything with God. All defenders of the faith.
Interesting point. Every person that is religious that do watch our videos or anything, comment what you guys think about this video down below. I know there's probably gonna be some dislikes, but that's part of making content. It's you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. So I want to know what you guys' thought processes about that. If you want to have like a argument about it, we can talk about it diplomatically. We get physical about it.
Faith can do is pretend to know things they don't know and assert empty, baseless speculation as though it were fact. In other words, they can make up lies and talk out of their ass, but that's about it. And once upon a time, when everything was unexplained by science, our ancestors believed that thunder, lightning, and volcanoes were gods in action, that comets were an omen, that the stars and planets had human characteristics, that sickness was a curse of witchcraft, and that epilepsy was demonic.
Yep. If you look back at Greek mythology, if you look back at ancient practices, he's actually bringing up some valid points. Where they did rituals, they did also they would go in and certain cultures they would worship like the water spirits, the air spirits, the earth spirits, all that stuff. Different tribes, you name it, it's all there.
Possession. But all those assertions of superstitious nonsense were already wrong even before science could give us the real answers. In each case, the reality was a revelation of whole new fields of study, previously unimagined and vastly more complex than anyone's imagined deity. No doubt that pattern will continue, such that if we ever learn the cause of the Big Bang, or complete explanations for the origin of life, the universe, and everything, they'll each be a wealth of new information with practical application and so advanced as to render our previous belief in gods, ghosts, and magic just as laughably silly as every other field of study so far has already shown. The God of the gaps refers to the gaps in our understanding. The more science can explain, the fewer...
I like that. I like how he explained what the God of the gaps is and where it pertains to and how it relates to all this.
Pockets of ignorance there are for God to hide in. That's why God once lived on a mountain until we climbed it, then he moved to the clouds until we could fly, and now he has to hide in another dimension that doesn't exist either, so that we'll never be able to prove he was never there, even though he was never anywhere other than right here. The God of the gaps is a logical fallacy composed of a combination of other logical fallacies, beginning with question begging. This is the circular argument routing back to the assumed conclusion. Asking who created the universe, for example, presupposes that someone created it when that's not even possible. Before you can say that anything is possible, there has to be some precedent or parallel or verified phenomenon indicating that such possibility exists. Until you can show there's such a possibility, there isn't one, and God is thus not possible. It's not just that these other things can't exist without God, it's that God himself cannot exist. So everything that does and is requires another explanation, one that actually is an explanation, providing a mechanism that isn't magic, that is supported by evidence, which God isn't, and which accounts for all the facts, which God doesn't. Tide goes in, tide goes out. God can't explain that. The other logical fallacies that make up the God of the gaps are the arguments from ignorance and incredulity. Incredulity says, I can't believe it, therefore it isn't true. But reality stubbornly persists regardless whether you want to accept it or not. Real things don't care if you believe in them. In all the universe, the only thing that requires or desires your faith is a con man trying to exploit your confidence. Deceivers seek believers. You might think that the argument from ignorance might be something like, I never heard of such a thing, so that can't be true. But no, that's actually another combination of fallacies, beginning with false dichotomy. That if it's not this, then it's got to be that, because I'm not even going to consider that there might be other options. Of course, there usually are other options, and the right answer is often one.
Wow, this is really informative. Never thought about it like that. It's always good to have like yourself like open-minded when you're viewing these things. Because if another like religious person was sitting next to me watching, she probably would walk to the goddamn door and be like, "This is the devil's word." Like every single person has their own spin and their own views about religion and everything, and how things work and how things don't work.
One of them. Religion encourages all sorts of unverifiable and immaterial subjective opinions based on ignorant emotions, but it never produces anything we can objectively show to be true. There's never been one time in the history of history where religion ever turned out to be right about anything. And knowledge differs from mere belief in that knowledge is testable with measurable accuracy, allowing ways to show which position is right or wrong or more accurate. So the only things we actually know are the things we can show with science. That's why I say that science doesn't know everything, religion doesn't know anything.
Hmm, that was very interesting. That I will say is very interesting. Like, and the fact of the segments of how he explains the fallacy, the differences between the two. But I mean, there's always different opinions. But I'm very curious to see what you guys thought about the video down below. If you guys liked it, leave a like. If you guys want to have a discussion about it in the comment sections, we can do that too. Or you guys can let me know if you guys want to do like a live session. We can set up a live and we can talk about that as well. But hope you guys liked the video and everything. Leave a like, leave a comment, make sure you guys subscribe so that way you guys don't miss any content that comes on the channel. And make sure you guys turn the little bell and everything as well, because that helps as well. Like I said, it's free. Alright, you guys been real. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.